everything easy. With my baby in the park, wishing it all away. Give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. I need the sunshine. I need the sunshine. Just give me the sunshine. Ooh, give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. I need the sunshine. Ooh, I need the sunshine. Just give me the sunshine. Do you remember last winter? The sun took all the fun away. It was cold, so cold, for many a days. When the sun came along and brought the pretty weather. I don't know about you, but I know I like it better. When I have the sunshine. When I have the sunshine. All I need is the sunshine. All I need is the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. Please let me have the sunshine. All I want is the sunshine. All I want is the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. I need the sunshine. I need the sunshine. Just give me the sunshine. Now I don't mind when it rains 'cause everything needs it. And sometimes it rains for days and even 10. Take the sun to come along and bring the pretty weather. I don't know about you, but I know I like it better. Give me the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. I need the sunshine. Just give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. I need.
Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Regina Sunshine, coming to you live from what is always a great day for me here in Atlanta, Georgia, with the Regina Sunshine Show here every Monday, normally at 12 noon, bringing you my version of midday motivation, helping you get a Regina Sunshine state of mind. We are late today, but thank God we're here. That's the blessing. And I still have two amazing guests live in studio with me. Most of the announcements that I would make at the beginning, I'm going to push those towards the end because these ladies are here and they're ready. And so our first guest of the day, I've got a Greenwood connection with. I don't even think my son knew that. A Greenwood connection. We don't have many Greenwood connections here in Atlanta, but Tweet the artist is here, and she is a part of the Street Capital family.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, you know, I normally start off every interview talking about how I know someone. This is the first time we've actually met.
Yes.
But I know y'all called him Jade.
Right.
I called him Justin.
Yes.
He was in my math. I don't know if he ever told you that. He was
He
a student
did
in my
tell me
math
that.
class. And we became, so many of my students have become like family. We just have stayed connected. And so immediately when he started, you know, Street Capital and started really pulling you guys together, I wanted to be able to support your efforts. So
Wow.
I'm so glad to have somebody from Greenwood.
I know. I was like, she's from Greenwood.
Well, I lived in Greenwood for 17 years.
Wow.
I'm originally from North Carolina. Now, my son was raised in Greenwood. He graduated from
Okay.
Greenwood High and everything. But I had to tell this quick story. We said my husband had the choice between a job in Japan or Greenwood. The baby was 6 months old, and my mama was like, "You're not taking the grandbaby to Japan. Your husband can go." I'm like, "How he gonna go to Japan without us?" But he ended up taking the job in Greenwood, and
Yeah.
that's how we ended up in
Wow.
Greenwood. He said we would be there 5 years, and 17 years after that, we were still there.
Wow.
So, anyway, so Greenwood, are you born and raised?
Yes.
So, are you in Atlanta now?
I am. I've been here for like maybe 7 years off and on, but I'm here for good now.
Do you like it here?
I love it.
I always say this is Wakanda on earth for real. That's what I say about Atlanta. This is where you see black beauty, black excellence in real time every day.
Yeah.
So you're an artist.
Yes.
Please tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do as an artist.
Well, my name is Tweet the Artist. I've been rapping for a long time, but like lately I've just been like representing the BBW family like strong, like, and so I represent you know, big beautiful women. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of times we're kind of people kind of overlook us sometime, or kind of, you know, I don't know the exact word to say, but I'm gonna bring it to the forefront. Like I'm just out there with it. They like, oh, that's the girl with BBW. Like, yes, this me. Shirts, everything, and everybody like that's associated with me and pushing my vision. Like they have stories to where, you know, like a lot of them been bullied in school. You know what I'm saying? Some of them tell me, oh, I used to wear a jacket year round, or I used to wear, you know, it's like crazy. Like I'm like, oh my goodness, it's crazy how we all come together and got this background. And it could be when you're younger, but it never leaves. Like, and it's always, the thought is always there, and, you know.
Yeah.
Now you get confident, and you like.
Well, what's interesting to me is so many plus size women have had different experiences.
Yes.
There's a spectrum of experiences.
Yes.
Because for me, I was always the popular, pretty, whatever. I never had any issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I run into women who have the exact opposite experience, and I'm like, wow, I can't imagine. And in fact, a friend of mine wrote a book. It's about a BBW woman getting with a personal trainer. And her words to me were, well, you know, a personal trainer would never date a BBW woman. I said, wait a minute. I said, where'd you hear that, baby? But that was her experience.
Wow.
That's what she knew. I said, I have been asked out by more professional ball players and other people wouldn't expect, because people just assume, right, a certain thing. So I'm grateful to hear you taking on the whole BBW movement and setting them straight.
Yeah. Yes.
Setting them straight. So what has been the reception, I guess, from the audience, your music, your movement, all of that?
I've been getting it's like a lot of people from different places receive it. Like, you know, some like, you know, everybody have their own opinion. Like, some like, oh, you gonna rap about something besides BBW? Like, yeah, but right now I'm in my BBW moment. Let me embrace that. So, you know, I mean, a lot of people receive me because a lot of people, like, some people understand and they know my story. They know the background, you know, and they know I've been bit bone all my life. Like, I was a fat baby, you know what I'm saying? So this ain't nothing new. Like, so, I mean, I just wanted to, I know it's a lot of plus size artists out there, but a lot of them like don't direct it to BBW. Like, they'll just do songs, but it ain't like, okay, I'm a big girl, I'm handling this, I'm doing this. Because a lot of guys, honestly, a lot of guys that I have just listened to in conversations, like, they think just because you're a plus size woman, or I can get over on her, or this and that, or no, like, nah, bro, we out here doing big things. Like, you ain't finna try to do that, go sideways with me like that.
No, not at all.
It ain't happening. So it's just out there in the open. Like, I'm gonna keep doing it. You know, I have other music too that I'm gonna get ready to drop, but right now I'm just in my BBW moment, and my next single is strictly about BBW. It's gonna have BBWs in the video and all.
Well, you know, I think you're probably like laying the groundwork, the groundwork for your brand.
Yeah.
You know, it's always good when you know, really pushing a certain thing, and that can definitely get you noticed. You know, there's an event here in Atlanta every summer, the Swim Thick Pool Party. You ever been there?
I've never heard of it.
You got to look it up. You got to look it up.
Wow.
People come from all over the world. Men come from all over the world to go to the Swim Thick. They always have like a big mansion in Atlanta, and it's all plus size women. They're always looking for artists to perform. That might be a good connection.
Yes, it is.
A good connection for you.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely going to check it out.
So when did you start doing your music?
I started actually when I was like 17, 18 years old. I was doing music, and after a while, you know, I got in a bad relationship. I kind of bagged off of it. I was trying to be like, I was married, and I was trying to just be like a wife, you know, and I kind of bagged off of it. And the relationship, it was, you know, people are good people, but some stuff is just too toxic. Like, some stuff, God, like, this ain't it. You know, we hold on to stuff, but
yes,
usually it's been the cutoff time, but we'll hold on to it. You know, like, oh, well, maybe they'll get better. Some people just not going to change. Yeah. So, you know, after that, you know, I was like, let me just get back into my music, because this is my voice. This is how I express myself, like an artistic space to me. So I just got back into the music, you know, and it was just a lot of traumatic events that happened in my life kind of just kind of throw me off a little bit mentally, you know what I'm saying? And I just had to back up a little bit. But, you know, I realized, like, this is how I express who I am. This is how I vent what's going on with me. And it helps me and it help other people. And I'm like, I could be going through the worst thing and I can get in there and make a song and somebody be crying like, oh my gosh, like, you don't know what that just did for me. And I'm like, well, you don't know what I was going through when I made the song. So, you know, it's kind of a healing thing, not only for me, but for other people going through the same thing.
It makes us, a lot of times the things that we go through are, you know, setting a place where we can minister and, you know, help other people grow as well. And it's interesting you mentioned, you know, that once you got married, you kind of put your stuff on the shelf. Why is it that we do that as women? Why is it that, you know, we make sure everybody else is good, you know, he's got his dreams, and then we put our stuff on the shelf. But thank God you found your way back to the thing that you love. So what is it you love about performing? I
love meeting new people. I love just the fact that people know my songs when I get up there and do it and they like saying the words. I'm like, oh my God, like these people really streaming my songs. They really like following what I'm doing and digging what I'm doing. Cause you know, when God give you a baby, you just go out and do it. But when people start being receptive to it and start grabbing on to it, and it ain't nothing negative. I ain't talking about going to be JoJo in the head and that like that. You know, I'm trying to put out something out there so people can have, so somebody that felt like I felt can be like, you know what, this girl done been through the same thing. Maybe I can dress myself up and I don't have to feel bad or feel like I don't look good. You know, so many women with low, not only plus size, but women just with low self-esteem, period. Yes. And it's sad. And they be some beautiful women, like it's just where they've been damaged by a man or damaged by life, and they don't even realize their worth and their beauty. So I just want to get them to know, like, okay, you are beautiful. Start with yourself. If you have to look yourself in the mirror every day and say, you know what, I'm beautiful, even if you don't believe it until you start believing it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
But you're right, you know, and my background is women's ministry, and that's the one thing I said, 9 out of 10 women you meet are dealing with some type of self-esteem issue, and it's reflected in her choices and the people she spends her time with. Yeah. And if you can change that, if you can change how you see yourself and love yourself, everything else changes. Yes. Because then the whole world opens up in front of you. So what are you excited about in terms of what's coming next?
I have a couple of shows coming up. I have a show coming up. I don't know if you heard Track Star. Have you heard that? Mm-mm. Okay, well, it's a song called Track Star by Mooski. I'll be performing with him in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm kind of excited about that. And I have my video shoot next Saturday. Like I said, all BBWs, and it's going to be crazy. I can't sleep. I'm just ready for that to come up. And just the different shows, and, you know, it's just exciting. I mean, it's working, but it's like I'm having fun while I'm working. I'm having fun while I'm doing shows. I'm enjoying, I'm learning to embrace it. Even though it's hard work, I'm learning to embrace the moment. You know what I'm saying? To the road to its success.
Well, you know, I always tell people, when you find the place you're supposed to be in, yes, it's hard work, but there's peace in knowing this is the place I'm supposed to be. Right. And I always say it's not work whenever you get to do something you love. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. You know, like the things I'm doing right now in my life, I get to get up every day and do things that I would do for free. If folk didn't pay me, well, thank you for paying me. But, you know... But that's when you really begin to enjoy life. Yeah. So when you think about purpose and, you know, music and everything that's going on in your life, do you believe you're walking in your purpose?
I do. I believe that it's a different style of ministry. Like people, I really feel like I reached them people that people in a church couldn't reach. I'm around people in the clubs. I've had to bring people outside and pray for them outside the strip club before. Like it's like more hands on to me, and I'm alert with that too, because I know God have a purpose in my life. So I know, okay, I might be able to do a song, but I wind up having to pray for somebody outside or somebody, you know, and I have to step in that mode. You know what I'm saying? So I really believe God got me doing this for a reason. It's helping bring a positive change instead of putting out negative stuff in the world about doing all this and that. I'm putting out something positive, some people can grab on and think about it and want to do better and want to see themselves in a different light.
So what about your circle? You've talked about the reception from the outside. How has it been in your circle, your hometown, your family? What has that been like?
They're adjusting, which we are, which we all are. They are adjusting. as I come into the artist that I am, they're adjusting. My circle is, I have a very strong support team. Like Street Capital is very supportive. You know, Jade is my brother. Justin is my brother.
Wait a minute. I think I knew that somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my support team is very strong. Like my mother, they all support what I'm doing. And it's great. It feels good to know that they behind me, because some people don't really have a strong support system. So I'm just thankful for that.
Well, one thing I do know about Street Capital is y'all a family for real.
Yes.
And y'all really go out of the way
Yeah.
to do great things. And I
Yeah.
love that. So we talked about just this whole BWW movement. And I said BWW. That's not what I meant.
BBW.
BBW. I don't know. Is that something, Gabriel? BWW? Look that up. You gotta be able to laugh at yourself. This whole movement especially impacts our girls. You know, I have a couple of girls I do 4 to 5 girls empowerment sessions every week. Have you thought about maybe doing a song that would be targeted specifically maybe to our teenage girls?
I have.
And I think that would be wonderful. I do.
I have. And I used to mentor like younger girls, like, teenage girls, just dealing with different stuff. Because sometimes they can't talk to their parents. The parents is the last person. They do not want to talk to their parents. But the calls that I would get, I mean, they would call me when they wanted to run away. They would call me when they wanted to have sex with little boys. They would call, and there was some stuff I wasn't ready to hear. But I knew that if I didn't do something, they would just go ahead and do it, or they probably didn't even trust nobody to talk to somebody else. So I definitely want to target towards that and kind of give them a little inspiration too, because it's hard out here nowadays.
I think you should do like a song targeted at a girl, maybe bring some girls in.
That's a good idea.
I think you should.
I will.
And you're right. I was doing a session with some high school girls yesterday, and one little girl got on the call and told me straight up she was going to school to fight today. I said, wait a minute, baby. I said, these days you getting assault charges and they taking you out in handcuffs. Back in the day they take you to the principal's office and have a word with you. You could change your whole life.
Yeah.
With one fight at a school these days.
I'm telling you.
So you talked about all the upcoming events and everything. Let's talk about legacy. When it's all over and you look back over your life, what is the legacy that you want to have left behind?
That she really embraced who she was. Like, she was a person of character. She embraced who she was. And that I just loved on people. Like, at the end of the day, it's bigger than music. Like, it's like God driven. Like, it's like he in control and I'm just a little puppet, Yes. But it's like, okay, I want to leave a trail of love or some type of inspiration, something positive. Long as when I'm laying in front of the church, as long as they could say something positive about me and mean it, because people get up there and say, oh, they went to heaven knowing good and well, and oh, they was a good person knowing but I want it to be real and honest and genuine. Like, okay, this really is a good person laying up here. Yes. She really embodied what she needed to do. She came and did the job. She lived her purpose. And I just want to fulfill my purpose. That's what I want to do.
I love that. I do. It's interesting. We're finishing with purpose. I told everybody for 2020, the year, that was peace and purpose for me, because we all had to be still, right?
Right.
To think about some things. Because when you're still, you got time to think and readjust. And 2021, I says peace, purpose, and progress, because it's like now we got to move. Yeah. It's like God gave us a chance to make sure you got it all together. Yeah. Sit down, think about some things, take care of yourself, rest. And now 2021 is time to move.
Right.
So what does that look like for you, this progression into 2021?
It's been fast. It's happened. I would just say get ready, because it's happened. It's happening fast. Like you said, we've been sitting down. Now it's like stuff is about to happen. It's gonna happen fast. So just preparing my mind mentally for it and staying humble. Like just staying humble and always being coachable and able to learn.
I love that.
I have to be able to learn. When I feel like I know too much, I'm like, bring it down. You can always learn. You can learn from a child. And I remind myself of that every day, because you can learn from anybody.
Absolutely. Well, tell our audience how they can follow you, where they can find your music, just how they can support your efforts.
Okay, well, you can definitely find me on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere up under Tweet the Artist. My song Maximum Capacity is out right now on iTunes, all major platforms. And you can find me there. And I thank you so much for following me. Thank you for trusting me. And I will keep giving you good music and good vibes.
Well, we're actually going to go to the break with Maximum Capacity. We've got it.
Okay.
We got it keyed up to play during the break. So could you intro the song for us?
Yes, I will. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you my song, Maximum Capacity by Tweet the Artist.
Awesome. We'll be right back.
Bigger, 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 don't play. It's Tweet the Artist. Bigger, 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 don't play. BBW forever. Yeah. Big girl, don't play. Big girl, won't wait. Big girl, gon' take what you want if you won't even hesitate. Get the money and stay out the way. Hate you haters, proceed with the hate. All the extra, I just can't relate. Get it in, gotta fill up my plate. Big girl, big girl, big girl, don't play. Yeah, big girl, don't play. Big girl, big girl, don't play. Yeah, big girl, yeah. I'm coming for it, I ain't letting up. Weight class on the heavier, getting paper, gon' hit it, stack it up. Last round, gonna count it up. I'ma go get it. Big girl on a mission and I'ma go get it. Throw it up if you with it. Try to keep us out the door, but we kicked it down quickly. I'm a BBW, better come correct. A little extra than the I expect. Let me spark your mind, grab your intellect. Plus size, just remember that. Thick thighs, I'ma handle that. I'm on 85 in the Cadillac. Hope you feel the pressure, I'm applying back. I'm a heavy hitter, can you handle that? I'm a BBW, you can bet on that. Yeah, I'm on 85 in the Cadillac. Can you feel the pressure I'm applying back? Yeah, yeah. Big girl, don't play. Big girl, won't wait. Big girl, gon' take what you want if you won't even hesitate. Get the money and stay out the way. Let you haters proceed with the hate. All the extra, I just can't relate. Get it in, gotta fill up my plate. Big girl, big girl, big girl, don't play. Yeah, big girl, don't play. Big girl, big girl, don't play. Yeah, big girl, listen, run it back, gon' run it back. Making all the plays on the field on the running back. I told you he'll hate it where my money at. Bar for bar, man, I'm a maniac. I demand my respect, you gon' give me that. Straight from Carolina, ain't no holding back. I'll get the bag, I won't hesitate. Took a while for my mentor to reinstate what I already knew when I gotta get it. By any means, ain't no fumbling with it. Back on the scene, ain't no need to panic. Almost done with my plate, ain't no half at it. Y'all took my pain and you laughed at it. Hit the gas on these niggas and automatic. In the field, ain't no cause of havoc. If you want to smoke, I'ma let you have it. Y'all took my pain and you laughed at it. Hit the gas and automatic. If you want to smoke, I'ma let you have it. Yeah, yeah. Big girl, don't play. Big girl, won't wait. Big girl, gon' take what you want if you won't even hesitate. Get the money and stay out the way. Let you haters proceed with the hate. All the extra, I just can't relate. Get it in, gotta fill up my plate. Big girl, big girl, big girl, don't play. Yeah, big girl, don't play. Big girl, big girl, don't play. Yeah, big girl, won't wait.
All right, you guys, you're back live on the air at Regina Sunshine here on the Regina Sunshine Show. Where? At Regina Sunshine Global Network. And I'm so excited to have this long overdue guest here with me, Miss Jade Adams. I'm going to read a little bit about Jade. It says, Jade Adams, born in Germany, a military brat, raised in Clinton, Iowa, and Chicago, Illinois. She has her education. She has an MS in leadership from Nova with Southeastern University. Is that right? A BA in sociology and African American studies. Girl, I didn't know you had something special here. Western Illinois University. Her work has been in higher education and community outreach for 14 years. This is what she says about life's purpose: to allow God to use me to stand in the gap, using my influence to profess the word of God in a way that clarifies, confirms, and validates people's lives, giving them the encouragement to journey forward. That's what's up, Jade. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I always think about, again, how I first met someone.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had a brief stint at Georgia Military College. It's always interesting. God puts you in a place for a period of time, and you meet who you got to meet, do what you got to do, and he gets you on up out of there.
He does.
And I wasn't that long for you were gone.
The next day.
I had the opportunity to have a conversation with Jade in her office, and she was just talking about some of the things, I guess, that you're doing now, that God had purposed you for more. There's more things you're supposed to be doing. We had a great conversation, and that chick quit her job. Was it that day or the next day?
The next day.
And I didn't see her no more. Just like that.
I'm gone.
So it's really, it was a divine appointment. I'll say
Yes,
that, because if we had not had that conversation this day, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation
True.
this
True
day.
indeed. The master chess player.
Absolutely. So tell our audience what you want them to know about Jade Adams.
Well, right now I'm currently coaching. I have a life coaching. I wouldn't say life coaching because I feel like that word is overused. I do more development style coaching for young adults, young professionals. Also, I do it for Christian coaching as well as social skills, different things that people need. And then as well as I do usually a weekly prophetic word, talk about it Tuesday on YouTube as well. So that's what I've been doing in this season.
You've been coming into your own.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting reflecting on that conversation from that moment to this, how different things are.
Yeah, it was a whole transformation.
But it was necessary.
Yeah, it's very necessary. When God tells you something, it's like when you say, Jesus, take the wheel, like you were saying earlier, and he takes the wheel. I always tell people I was thinking more like driver's ed, slamming on the brake. I didn't know he was going to really take the wheel. And so at that point, your obligation is to surrender. And once you learn what all that means, then that is release. That allows God to release you into your purpose.
So that day when you quit your job,
Mm-hmm.
what was it in your mind? I'm quitting my job to follow my purpose, or I've just had enough here?
No, God said, get up and go. I didn't think I would quit my job.
Wow.
The Lord was like, it's time for you to go, pack your bags and walk out. And I was like, right now? And he was like, yes. And I followed. After I surrendered, I had that conversation. I surrendered my will to his. And that's what happened.
I love that so much. That's a faith walk.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, we're in a season right now where we have to be listening very closely. It's as serious as you're at the stop sign and you're going to turn right, and he said, no, baby, go to the left.
Yeah, I call it radical obedience.
Mm.
And that is who I feel like God is raising up his no limit soldiers. And to be no limit, you have to exercise radical obedience.
Girl, I got chills all over when you said that. So what are some of the things, okay, you talked about your coaching now.
Yes.
You talked about the prophetic word
Mm-hmm.
that you're doing on YouTube. What are you most excited about right now?
I'm most excited about the journey God has taken me on through ministry. He speaks to me all day long. And even before I came, he was like, talk about scars. And so I know that my job is to help people overcome strongholds that are attached to their life. And strongholds, for people who don't know, are things that you are in agreement with that's a lie. And so a lot of times what I'm learning is all roads lead back to the same thing, because everything develops from your childhood to who you are now. And no matter how we spin it, whether I'm academic coaching somebody, a stronghold needs to be broken in their life, even through academic coaching. And so what I've learned is that even though I coach in different areas, and those areas are strictly for people to find me, because that's what they think they need, but all roads lead back to these strongholds that people need to break agreement with. And so at some point, people don't realize that you agreed with what the lie was, whether that be you're not smart, and you end up agreeing with it because you're told that, and then you agree with it. My job is to help you break agreement with the lie, so that you know the truth, not your truth, not my truth, but what the truth is about you. And so I do that through my coaching. And then I guess God is kind of unraveling me into ministry. He was just basically talking about scars, and I was taking a bath the other day, and I was thinking about scars. And I looked at my arm, and I was like, wow, the scar is gone. And I had got this burn when I was a little kid. I had ran into an iron. And God was like, well, why is the scar gone? And I was like, well, my mom had cocoa buttered it up. And I'm like, how is the scar not there anymore? And then I pulled my legs out the bath, and I was like, dang, I still got some of those scars. And I go, and I got a new scar that I fell last year. That's a whole other story. And even in the bathtub, God was like, right, the point of the matter is your scars are dealt with basically on how you heal them. The reason why my arm scar is no longer there is because I put the proper ointment on it to heal it. And so he was saying your leg scars, some of them are still there. There's scars that will never leave you. And then there's scars that can fade. But they fade because you put the proper healing ointment. You have new scars that develop in your life because they're new scars. And things happen in life that develop new scars in your life. And the reason why some scars fade is because you properly heal them. And God was saying he wanted to be our healer. And the reason why the scars are fading is because you're putting the proper healing ointment. The reason your scars in life fade is because you heal them properly. And so there's things that we'll never heal from, but we can use, God wants to be our healer in the sense that he can fade the scar that's already in your life. Yeah. And so he was just telling me that everybody needs healing. And they don't utilize the resource that's there, which is God is the healer. And so he was just showing me through even looking at my legs like, okay, you didn't put the cocoa butter. It's just like life. You didn't heal the scar. You have to do work in this area to heal that scar that's there. And it's true. There's scars that you will have from surgeries, from anything that will never leave, but it's the same in life. They'll never leave. You'll always remember what happened to you. But it's only then that you start developing, okay, I need healing in this area. There's a stronghold. There's something here, There's different spirits that you're in agreement with. Rejection, control, all these things that unravel to help you heal the scar so that you can learn to live with what you've been through.
Sounds like a book.
I got a lot of them in me.
Yes. So you got to get one of them at least out.
Yes.
So the other ones can start coming up.
It's continuous work, yes. So we all have them. And that is just, when I sit with somebody, the first way I know that they're ready to start healing is they admit that they need help. And they admit there's a problem. The people I usually have the most issues with are people who act like it's their first time hearing it. And I'm like, it can't be really. And I know it's hard to swallow the truth, but it can't be your first time hearing this. And then my also job as a leader in that area is to be able to show them the scars they're not even aware of, because you don't even understand how you pick up stuff as you go along in life and how you start picking up stuff. And you don't even realize what you're projecting. And you don't even realize the scars that are there and how you relate that to everything in life.
Wow. Well, I think you've always been a coach. I remember one of the days, I don't know if you guys were there or not, we were making calls to former students and, just checking on stuff. And so many of them, when they saw you, I was calling from your phone. So they got so excited that it was going to be you on the phone. I was like, no, it's not her. Oh, okay. But you had made such an impact on their lives that they were just excited to hear from you. Where some of the other phone calls, people would never answer. But they would see the call, I didn't see your number, and they would be so excited. So this has been a part of who you are for a long time.
It's like you don't realize it, but there's stuff that I've been told my whole life that I was going to do, and that I was always this person. I know, like you said, my friends aren't surprised. They see me on TED Talks. Like, they've been talking about this stuff the whole life. Like, you're going to be a motivational coach, or you're going to be, and people kind of have always seen that my whole life because I've always been the same type of person. It's just that God puts you through a refining process that I needed to be more refined in certain areas and really learn more to live by the spirits of the fruit and learn different things that I needed to advance in to be able to do his work and stand in the gap for people.
The day you quit your job, or what did your family, friends say? You say, I left my job.
It depends on which friends and family. There's people who already knew. There's people who knew it had to happen, because sometimes God cannot let you go into your purpose being under I'm working for everybody else. I didn't have time to be able to even do what he needed me to do.
I think we had that conversation.
And so it's not something that I thought I could do. God had just got me a new house, I'm single with a house. All this stuff is coming up, and I'm like, this is where you can't really know you have faith. I thought I had faith. So God had to test me because I'm like, I know I have faith. Yeah. There's different levels. I've learned that. So it's all good when you're doing everything in your own will. Also, I had to develop a relationship with God where I could be dependent upon Him and trust Him. And those are two areas where I needed help with because to be able to be dependent and rely on something, being single and how we're raised, which I learned is a stronghold that I have to break, is that spirit of self-control. Like I have to control everything, not because I want to, because I was raised to do that. And so they say, like, train a child in the way you should go, and they'll never depart. Well, sometimes we've been trained wrong, and that's just the honest truth. And so learning that I was trained wrong is how I developed to be like, okay, it's hard. These are ties I had to really break, and God is going to have to really break me down to break this because I was taught to be strong, independent, and going to a separate route is to be dependent. I also was a critical thinking professor at the college. So the way my mind works is I had to figure everything out. I'm going to think God works in opposite way. And so for me, He had to really break me down because I'm like, there's nothing logical about God.
You're right. This makes no sense.
It doesn't. You got a house, you quit your job. No sense. Like that. Where does that add up? And so I'm learning. I have to break down the way I think to be able to understand how, which we can't understand, which is the beauty of it, is that I can't figure everything out. But as long as the Holy Spirit, which I call the Holy Spirit my ride or die, there's always that voice there who guides me along the way, tells me go right, not left. And as long as I have the Holy Spirit riding out with me, then there's no better gift than that. I just have to, even if we get it wrong, it's okay. God is very gentle. He knows. He'll show you the lesson. He does. He's like, oh, bless her heart. You really thought this. And stepping out in the prophetic world, I had to learn that too. Like, you have to be willing to make the mistake to learn. And so there's a lot of gifting where I had to tell people stuff and learn how to tell and relay messages. And so I'm just learning God is gentle. God gives you more gifts. The more open you are to it, the more I'm like, another gift? Oh, thanks. The more He gives you visions and gifts and all this stuff. And so it's been a challenge. I've been in a desert season. The Lord said it was my season of Joshua, and I definitely went through that. And I know I'm coming out of that season, but I know I need that time away. I know everybody else had time away based off the pandemic, but there's a different type of time away where it was me and God, and I was like David every day, bipolar, like, I love you, Jesus, you're the head of my life. Why have you forsaken me? I was going through that. Like, I know there's nobody better than you.
Listen, I have never heard it called bipolar.
I've been through it all. I was bipolar. Like, I'm up there like, you're the best thing. I want to walk with you every day. I don't care if I walk another day with you. Like, what I'm not going to do is sit here. He's like, okay. And so that's kind of the season I've been going through to get through the desert to the promised land, I call it.
I love that so much. Because what happens in this season for you is, you're focused on Him and what He's saying, and your faith is being built, but other people are watching this.
Yes.
And their faith is being built
Yes.
while they're watching you walk through this thing. And that's the beautiful thing.
It's a lesson to learn because you also have to learn how to be completely relying on God, because there's also a thing to everybody donating their opinions to you. I think everybody cares, but it doesn't mean, and God had told me one time, even in the Bible, everything related, there's a message in the Bible. Your appetite, goes along with the Bible. There's always something to look at. And He was like, even the Pharisees were right, and prophets were right when they told Paul, there's danger ahead. But the message is that he still had to go.
Yeah.
So it's not that people are wrong, but what God called me to do and what He called you to do and somebody else to do is different things. And so when you really learn that and have to be strong and like, no, I know this is what He told me to do, regardless of people's advice or what they're telling you to do, it's a hard thing to get through, especially when you think of people as having wisdom, older. You respect their opinion, but God is like, your allegiance has to be to me and not man.
Oh, and I understand. My degree is in chemical engineering. I've heard told you that. But, this whole me pursuing being self-employed, People in my life thought I was crazy. I have aunts and uncles. So what you mean you're not gonna do engineering?
Like you a whole engineer?
Are you serious? You're not gonna do engineering? No, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Because if I had listened during those years, because I didn't, I was chasing money. Right? I was chasing money. I never said, God, what am I supposed to do with my life? I'd be like, oh, you make 50,000 as coming out? Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that type of thing. And I think it makes a difference whenever you pull back and say, you know what, whatever he says.
Well, it's learning worldly success versus, godly success. God will make you start your business just to heal one person.
Yes.
And he will say that is a job well done. Versus you feeling like you had to buy likes and he will have us have this conversation just for one person to view. And that's really hard based off of my personality and how I look at success. I'm like, there's not enough people viewing. How do we get more viewers? And God's like, I'll send them to you. Like, stop worrying about what people feel, what the world says successful is. Success is reaching one person. He will have you write one book to reach one person. So it just goes, and it just makes you love God even more because you're like, it's like the 99. Like he'll leave the 99 to find the one person.
Absolutely.
And when you understand that your part is to help him get the one person, then it pulls everything together and makes you be like, wow, God really does care that much for me to get healed by that song that she made. And I'm the one person. I might have got one spin from the song, but it was the spin that mattered. Or he has you sit in front of the person that matters. And it might be 5 people watching us today. And then there's a person who knows an executive over here. And that's how God plays chess. And so he's like, stop worrying about the small stuff. You don't know what I'm going to end up doing in life. But I met you here. And then I'll be like, there was a girl who interviewed when I did my first interview. And then, and God just works all the pieces of the puzzle together. And it makes you not have to work so hard. So I don't have to fight so hard in life because I let him do all that, do my heavy work. And I'll just sit back and do what he tells me to do. It's made my life so much easier and less stressful and less anxiety.
Honey, I'm so with you. I remember whenever I first started this show on a different network, and they would always do like the views and who was in first, second, and third. And I was always in the top 3, but I told myself I never wanted to know the numbers because I was more focused on, did I minister today? Did I reach who I was supposed to reach? And so if you start thinking about the numbers, your mind will be somewhere else. And I said, no, let's not even talk about numbers. Right. Let's talk about, did somebody email us and say, you touched me today. This changed my life. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. That's where the well done comes from.
That is the job well done. And that's what we all want to hear at the end. It's not really like anybody else can get us there. It's just that God says a job well done. And that is through those emails. Like there's times where I'm like, I didn't want to do the YouTube page, although everybody thinks I have the most outgoing personality. It's like you're extrovert, introvert, and so it's different. And so I don't usually light up when I have individual attention. I shine in a room, but not like when I know people are watching me. And so I have more of a problem. And so everybody's like, you got to do this. And they're like, you don't want to do a YouTube channel? I'm like, no. I don't want to talk about God on YouTube. Like, I don't deal with the Christian people like that. They got something to say about everything. And, I might say drop it like it's hot. And, I'm learning to drop it like it's warm. I don't want no problems. I was telling people, I'm not saved. Like, let me give disclaimers. They got the judgment for days. Yes. And so I was like, I don't even want to put myself out there. And then the first email I got was like an atheist person I went to high school with. And I was friends with everybody, the skater, anybody, everybody, Yep. I'm like, oh, I love you, black nail polish,
So
I'm friends with everybody, and they'll send me a message like, I don't really listen to critics, but I listen to you. And then I'm like, what? You listen to my channel? They're like, yeah, I love what you had to say. It's really thought-provoking and whatever. And then you just see how God just starts working. And next thing you know, you're ministering people in your inbox. I'm sitting there, I have a team of prayer warriors. When people need prayer, I have intercessors. So I have a whole team working behind me of friends who I've developed who actually intercede and pray for people. And so I'm sending their prayers along and interceding and, try to break strongholds with people and having that development happen behind the scenes. So it really all does work for the same goal and purpose.
I love it so much. I do. As I mentioned to tweet, whole 2020, now 2021, peace, purpose, and progress. What does that mean for you?
I would say it means to surrender and walk, be a no-limit soldier. I'm going to use that again, a no-limit soldier, and had to be willing to be a no-limit soldier. And that means going outside of the 4 walls, outside of what, you would do on a normal basis and not miss the opportunity. God has shown me that everything is an opportunity. So Absolutely. Every person he puts in your presence is another opportunity. And so you're just looking for another opportunity to get it right, to not miss the moment. and be a no limit soldier, because I mean we at war, and it is what it is. We're at war, and I'd rather be one of the no limit soldiers than be on the other side.
Absolutely.
And I always tell people I'd rather be wrong.
Well, you mentioned, never missing an opportunity. And something, I don't think I've told many people this. When I was at Georgia Military College, there was another employee there that just being around me and everything came to me one day. He said, I think I can tell you this. He said, I've stopped believing in God. And I'm sitting there like, how you pick me out the crowd? And he was like, but I've watched how you move. He said, I know you're a believer. He said, I need to know what you know. I need to experience what you've experienced. And it was such a beautiful thing in that moment. Like you said, that opportunity.
Right.
I was like, was all of this? Did I come here for him?
Right.
And I tell people all the time, God will change people's whole days around to put you in their path.
Yeah, I have students getting baptized through my
Yes.
church still, reaching out to me. They're coming to my church, we'll pray over them, they can get baptized, their kids have been getting dedicated. I just saw my student who was in No Limit Kim, or Real Talk Kim. He is one of her worship leaders. And so I went to
Wow.
see him this Sunday, and he was worshiping, and so it all kind of works, and there's still people he's sending your way and maneuvering, and everything is a lesson if you can find that in everything. God wastes nothing.
At all.
Nothing,
At
not
all.
a crumb, not a...
At all.